And, I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And
now, we heard a bunch of talk about Fever fan, Caitlin Clark fans sticking together and no showing the games and boycotting the game and this and that. And man, oh man, this picture doesn't spell good news for the WNBA. I'm just gonna blow this up here. This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all over the place.
There is complete fear going on right now behind closed doors in the WNBA front offices. The league's multi-million-dollar financial infrastructure is actively collapsing into complete ruin rather than merely trembling. Caitlin Clark turned around and made a shocking farewell speech that has completely paralyzed USA basketball just hours after the league attempted to defuse the situation by awarding her the Player of the Month trophy. But everyone is afraid of what comes next. It has been formally verified. For the game on Sunday, Caitlin Clark will not play. And an unprecedented event occurred as soon as the official injury report was released. Algorithms for tickets froze. In a matter of seconds, stadium seats went from being completely sold out to being essentially worthless. An instant, startling 5% decline in the WNBA global fan base overnight is being tracked by insiders. The league is losing millions of viewers, and the financial damage is only getting started. However, you are being misled if you believe that this is only a typical rest day or a minor injury report. It is infinitely deep. Sophie, one of her teammates, just took the microphone and delivered a terrible and brutal statement that totally destroyed the league's authority. They said things that fundamentally disrupted the system before declining to appear in court. The WNBA never anticipated Clark's kind of retaliation, but they believed they could maintain the status quo. Keep checking back as we analyze the concealed video that the league is attempting to remove from the internet. We must examine the precise time the fuse was ignited in order to comprehend why there is a widespread fan boycott of Sunday's game. It was an intensifying, deliberate act of violence rather than merely a typical basketball play. Everyone in the arena and millions of people watching from home were utterly stunned by Alyssa Thomas's stunning dirty punch. It was risky, obvious, and blatant. However, what actions did the referees take? They turned their heads away, while actively defending the veterans and rendering the league's most valuable asset helpless. The officials on the floor pretended nothing had happened. Caitlin was supposed to take the hit, keep quiet, and continue to generate billions of views, according to the hierarchy. She was supposed to play the good soldier.
I think things like that, and I think a lot has obviously come after that, and as I've stood up here and said before, like the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play, that goes for my teammates, that goes for my coaches. There should never be a question of character. Like I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So, none of that is okay, and I don't want anybody to ever experience that. I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot, and I think at times I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it, but there are times that it is hard, and there are times that it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on, and I would never change any of that for the world, but I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So at the same time.
However, they misjudged the people they were dealing with. Clark went on the ultimate warpath as soon as he was selected Player of the Week. She exposed the poisonous narrative being created behind the scenes and vehemently denounced Alyssa Thomas's post-game lies. Not only did she criticize the play, but she also criticized the systematic bigotry and unfair treatment that the superiors have been subtly promoting for months. The message entirely removed the league's polished public relations facade and was forceful and unvarnished. However, it was the locker room, rather than Caitlin alone, that caused the true tsunami and the event that fractured the league. Sophie comes in. Players had been afraid to speak up until now because of corporate censorship and steep fines, but witnessing her teammates' complete lack of protection sent Sophie over the limit. Sophie unleashed her rage on the league representatives in an unrestrained backstage altercation. According to people close to the team, her remarks were so harsh and detrimental to the WNBA's reputation that officials attempted to halt the filming. She insisted on knowing why the league is deliberately using its best players as weapons for financial gain while allowing them to be pursued on the court. You could feel the rage. Sophie stated unequivocally that they will no longer put up with being handled like corporate commodities in a biased system. This was a full-scale rebellion against USA Basketball's leadership, not just a teammate standing up for another teammate. Keep the game's integrity intact or watch as the entire empire collapses. Additionally, the empire appears to be on fire based on Sunday's game. This is where the WNBA's nightmare materializes. So let's talk about the cold, hard numbers. The Caitlin Clark effect served as the foundation for the league's whole contemporary infrastructure, which included everything from major luxury brand endorsements to primetime broadcast contracts. The CEOs believed they were the audience's owners. They believed that fans would still go, purchase the stuff, and consume the pricey refreshments even if Clark was sidelined. They were completely incorrect. The whole house of cards fell apart as soon as it was announced that Clark would be absent on Sunday. The value of ticket resale markets fell by more than 80%. Stadiums that were expected to generate millions of dollars in income are now facing ghost town attendance figures. No one is coming.
Organization. That thing in between their ears called a brain, they don't really use it. And when they do use it, they don't use it well. Oops. Moving on. Caitlin Clark also named the Eastern Conference Player of the Month by the WNBA. Now, this actually surprises me. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but that they actually gave it to her. You know what I mean? Not that she doesn't deserve it, because I know she does. But after all this hoopla, after all this hoopla, if you get it, if you get that reference, you get that. What a load of hoopla! Her winning the Eastern Conference Player of the Month, I'm surprised the WNBA gave it to her with all of this stuff going on. Averaging 21.9 points per game, 45.6% from the field, 8.2 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. Historical numbers. Historical numbers. So shout out to Caitlin Clark for winning Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Now this is Rose Gold. Her last name's harder to pronounce than Shanae's. This is Rose Gold talking about Caitlin Clark. Should she publicly address the online hate? Let's take a look.
Do I think Caitlin should say something? I don't think that she has the responsibility to. I think it's still a lot. It's unfair to put that on a player, but I have a lot less grace for it than I did in 2024, where I was like, hey, she just got here. There's so many people using her to, further agendas. She's a kid, blah, blah, blah. This is now 3 years into her career. And if she's silent, it's her decision to do so. And it will be read as such. I don't think she has to, but the choice to be silent is also an action. And that will be judged. And for me, this is the opinion of Roz. I think it would be cool to hear from Kayla. I think she's a good person. I'm sure she's not at all, hoping these types of things happen to her fellow colleagues of the WNBA. I think it'd be cool if she was like, yo, don't do this.
And
the core audience decline of 5% is only the beginning. Emergency panic meetings are allegedly currently being held by mainstream business sponsors. They didn't sign multi-million-dollar contracts to show dirty plays and empty crowds. They embraced the new era's revolutionary momentum. The WNBA leadership has effectively alienated their most profitable audience by opting to support Thomas and the old guard rather than defend their franchise player. There is no short-term solution since the financial architecture is essentially flawed. This brings us to the crucial subject that is now rocking the sports world. Are Caitlin Clark and Sophie's days in the WNBA coming to an end? Or is this merely a one-game absence? In their final united statements, they spoke of deep-seated betrayal rather than healing or coming back stronger the following week. There are rumors circulating that talks about their future with USA Basketball are taking place behind closed doors. A permanent walkout is now quite likely to occur if the league does not take strong disciplinary action against dirty plays and dishonest officiating.
A lot of the times, and we can do better at that. And I think it'll help our game grow a lot more. And that goes for obviously the Fever and whatever. But at the same time, you guys are here in this arena every time we play. And the amount of people that are passionate and love the game and respect the other team and the young girls and the young boys that show up, like, we can't lose sight of that. And that's whether we're here at home and whether we're on the road. And, there's a lot of really, really great people that, love this league and love our organization. And, I'm thankful to be here in an organization that has my back and will always stand up for me. And, I think we can't ever lose sight of that. Like, the joy and the fire and the fun, like, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. Like, I remember seeing a headline is like, and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. Like, I need to be aware of certain things, and obviously my team makes me aware of certain things. And it was like, the headline read like, this season has been everything but fun, and they're just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. And I'm like, no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Like, they're like, discuss my play. Discuss if I played bad. Discuss if I played good. Like, discuss our play. And at times I understand there's other things that need to be talked about. Great, whatever. But let's continue to move on and, things like that. And, but I think just focusing on the joy and the amazing parts of this game, like I said, I think it's sometimes a disservice to not only our team, but to everybody else. And, let's get back to a lot more smiling and positivity. I think our world could use a lot of that. And then
does the league provide for you guys as players to kind of help you try to filter through some of the hate and negative things that come through on social media?
I think that honestly, I don't know what our league does to help with that. If they really do anything, you can put out statements as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're in an entertainment business. That's when mental toughness comes in. If you're going to live by praise, you're going to die by the hate. And so I think that's on the individual person to have mental toughness. Some people can deal with it, some people can't. And I think you can see the ones who can. And unfortunately, there are some who can't. And it's not beneficial to them. But you can't control what other people say or what other people do. All you can do is control yourself, how you treat people. Speak up, and support people who, maybe don't have a voice or don't have the courage to do that. But it's one of those things. You're in the entertainment business and you have to expect it.
How do you try to filter through some of that stuff, or you just avoid it?
I don't know if you guys don't know, but I don't care. Like, I don't care. And I think that's with the good stuff, like the meme, like, I think that's funny and it's cool, but like, is that my whole identity and that's what I'm thriving on? No, it's not. Like, I think it's funny. But yeah, I just don't care. I think people are funny, people are dumb, and they let them do them. I'm just going to stay.
Before leaving, they made remarks that have irreversibly damaged the players and the front office's trust. The WNBA believed they were too large to fail, but they overlooked an important fact. Fans are more concerned with the truth than the league. And as of right now, the evidence points to a significant historic departure. The numbers speak for themselves, despite the league's desire to keep this issue quiet. The CEOs are sweating through their suits since Sunday's game will be a ghost town. However, we would like to hear from you, the true motivator behind this sport. Are you formally refusing to participate in the league until justice is done? Is the WNBA's golden age coming to an end? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Don't hesitate. Press the subscribe button and enable alerts. Because the leaks are still coming out of the head office, we are monitoring this developing crisis minute by minute. Our next emergency update is something you won't want to miss. I'll see you in the comments area.